What up, what up? Today we have GodTear, the Borderlands starter set. Been looking at this for a month or two. It's been around here, but today I'm thinking I might bust it out, bring it to 2-player Tuesdays at Game Goblins. If you're anywhere in the Little Rock area and you want to get down on some 2-player games, come out, Game Goblins. Let's open this bad boy up. Miniatures game. Supposed to be a pretty easy setup, easy to get onboarded. Let's see how easy it is. GodTear, the Borderlands starter set, a miniatures game of ascendant champions battling in a broken world. Didn't even read the back, so let's try to check out the back. All right. Even gods can die. As they fall, only the divine essence remains. Great crystal meteors known as GodTears raining from the skies to land in the mortal realm. A few rare mortal champions are able to withstand and harness the immense power of a GodTear. But once they taste the power of a god, they are driven by an endless ambition to gain more. In GodTear, players take control of these mighty champions, attempting to claim the essence of the shattered gods as their own, so they can ascend to the throne of immortality and untold power. Throwing players into the thick of it right from the start of the game, momentum swings dynamically between each player as the two sides clash until a winner emerges. Combat is smooth and fluid, with separate phases each turn that allow players to zoom out to plot their strategy, and then jump straight back in as the fighting begins again. Perfect if you're just starting on the path of your destiny or looking to bolster your warband. This box set contains everything you need for 2 players to get started, including Finvar, Lord of Mirages, Titus, the Disgraced, 3 Shadow Sentinels, 5 Glory Seekers, 2 Banners, Rulebook, double-sided battlefield, 10 dice, 24 objective hexes, 6 profile cards, 3 dashboards, 85 tokens. The GodTears await the chosen. Yeah. So what's cool about this miniatures game is, like, I think you play like 3 rounds or maybe 5 rounds, but like the points you get from the first round are like, say you get like 1 point in the first round. Then like if you win the second round, you get like 2 points. Then the third round, you might get like 4 points or something like that. This board. Big expansive board. Nice art on it. Got some barrels. Got some sand. Ruins on the backside. Hexes. Yeah, it's just gonna be hard to get this in the frame. I'm not gonna even worry about it. Rule book, these dice, 10 of these. Looks like a hit, double hit, blank, blank, another hit. Yeah, so maybe 3 hits, 2 blanks, and a double hit. Rule book. Guess this may be where you plan your moves or something. Probably 2 of these. Player mix. Oh, 3 of them for some reason. Okay, so 2 hexes, a heart, 2 hexes, hit, 6 dots. Maybe damage hexes. Plus a shield, plus a shield, plus a hit, plus a hit, plus a dodge, plus some swords, health, plus a Swift, 2, 1, 3 hearts. 2 of those, different values. Grim Reapers, Warlord, Targeted, and the minis. Warlord dude. What faction is that? I'll get to that in a second. SFG on the bottom. The underlings. Yeah, looks like everything has a different sculpt. None of them are the same. Cool. I like how it's already just painted a color. You ain't got to worry about painting them. A flag. An Excalibur. Okay, with some tentacles coming out of it and a skull. Cool. Elven Rogue leader. Cool. Elven Rogues with a mace. 2 maces. Mace the Oracle. We ain't nothing, Woody. We ain't nothing. Alright, in the cards, Finvar. Okay, Finvar. Phantom banners. Okay. Choose any number of friendly banners within range. Place them on objective hexes within range. 4 hexes. Something. Guardian champion. A guardian moves the turn token plus 1 step when they have their banner on an objective hex during the end phase. Banner warden. If Finvar is on an objective hex, his skills have plus 2 range. Some more Finvar stuff, some more Finvar stuff, and then Titus stuff. So I'm taking it this is where you put these cards. Maybe you pick a side, maybe they upgrade at a point. Don't know. Both double-sided. Yep, if it's anything like Warhammer Underworlds, these cards might upgrade once you hit them. I mean, maybe once they get enraged, maybe. I don't know. Titus and Finvar. And then let's take a look at this rule book a little bit. Okay, The World of GodTear, 2019, so about 3 years late to this game. Contents, the big picture. Yeah, let's read the big picture. Banners. Banners resemble a flag or icon and allow champions to stake claim to an area, driving their standard into the ground for all to see. Followers, champions, objective hexes. Objective hexes are placed on the battlefield to represent an area rich in energy from a GodTear hidden beneath the ground. Battlefield and battle ladder, dice, custom dice, battle ladder tokens. There are 2 types of tokens that are placed on the battle ladder. Each player's warband token is placed on the battle ladder before the game begins. A turn token moves up and down the steps of the ladder each turn to determine who wins the turn. Alright, and that's the battle ladder. And dashboard tokens. There are 2 token types that are placed on dashboards. Wound tokens show how many wounds a model has. Status tokens are double-sided tokens that show the boons and blights a model has cast upon them. Okay. Alright, shoot, man. Might as well read it. Our tale begins with the end of days, a time when mortals have abandoned sacred belief and wage bloody wars across the world, coming unbound. Already weakened, the gods weep from the ruination of the universe at the hands of the faithless, witnessing the final betrayal and succumbing as their last worshippers abandon them. Anguish ravages and shatters each god into 1,000 pieces. As they die, their demise heralded by arcane lightning on the blackened horizon. In a reverent silence, mortals come to remember their divine masters at last, but their resumed piety is too late. In the depths of their cities, they cower as a rain of crystalline shards falls, crashing into the ground in great outpourings of power, liquid fire dispelling the darkness as it spirals into the skies above. These are the GodTears, crystals imbued with the essence of their gods. Their energy is so mighty as to consume most mortals who might dare to stand in their presence. Only a few able to embrace their divine light. Each shard wreaks destruction upon impact, leveling mountains and shattering the earth into great chasms, water rising from the depths to consume all. Eventually, all that remains of the mortal world is barren and lifeless, mortal kind reduced to a pitiful handful of survivors and little else. Yes, this cursed fate is not oblivion, but the promise of resurrection. For through the stark light of God's hairs, the trials of the champions resume once more. Drawn by the lure of glory untold, mighty individuals chosen by the destiny venture forth in search of these sacred crystals. Their actions, the birth of legend and dire portents both. To claim such sovereignty is to step upon the path of ascension to godhood. As they absorb more GodTears, champions grow in power and size, towering over mere mortals who flock to become the first followers of these future gods. Nations and religions emerge in thrall of these rulers. Their words, the divine teachings of prophets, saints, and demons. For this is the right of the immortals, when the birthright of the champions is claimed once more and the new pantheon of gods is born. If that wasn't something out of the Holy King James Version of the Bible, I don't know what is. Boy. All right, the big picture. Okay, here we go with the real. Okay, right here. Overview. In GodTear, players take command of a warband made up of champions and their followers and attempt to gain victory in a scenario-based battle. During each turn, players compete to influence the momentum of the conflict by carrying out heroic actions, allowing them to gain the upper hand. This is represented by the turn token moving one or more steps on the battle ladder, which shifts dynamically back and forth between each player. Okay, so that battle ladder determines who wins the round. Okay, in the plot phase of each turn, warbands focus primarily on getting into position and setting up their game plan for the turn. In the clash phase of each turn, warbands implement those plans with brutal attacks against enemy models. Okay, plot phase where I'm guessing you put your stuff down right here, maybe, perhaps. Nah, okay, that's where you move your stuff on the board. Tripping. All right, in the clash phase, where you're getting it on. At the end of the turn, the player with the turn token on their side of the battle ladder wins the turn and gains the number of victory points shown on the back of the current turn token. Turns increase in value as the action intensifies with the mighty clash and then taper off again as the fighting nears its conclusion. The first player to gain 5 victory points wins the game. Okay. Players move the turn token in the following ways. They can move the turn token multiple times per turn for the same accomplishment if they meet the requirements more than once in a single turn. Okay, knock out an enemy champion. See knockout, page 23, 4 steps. Knock out a small enemy follower, 1 step. Knock out a large enemy follower, 2 steps. Make a claim action during the plot phase, 1 step. Have one of your banners on an objective hex during the end phase. See the end phase, page 15, 4 steps. Don't get too comfortable with the plan, then execute dynamic of the plot phase and clash phase. Some champions and followers shake things up with unique play styles. Champions are divided into 4 distinct classes, and each class gains a bonus step for one of these accomplishments. Slayers focus on fighting when fighting enemy champions and gain a bonus step when they knock out an enemy champion. Maelstroms excel at eliminating followers and gain a bonus step when they knock out an enemy follower. Shapers can manipulate objective hexes to find a foothold for their banner. Lastly, Guardians protect the hexes around their banners and gain a bonus step for keeping their banner in play until the end phase. An objective hex represents an area of the battlefield permeated by GodTear energy. Champions may enter objective hexes freely, but followers can't enter objective hexes, because getting too close to GodTear energy is fatal for ordinary mortals. The starting position of objective hexes depends on the scenario, but the position and even the number of objective hexes can change during the game, so players will need to stay on their toes. Okay. Preparing for battle, selecting your warband, preparing the battle, deployment. Okay, let's skim over this. Maybe go back to this page 10. Card types, dashboard. Okay, let's read the dashboard. For each champion, lay out their cards on a dashboard as shown below. Note, you will flip the card on the left each time you activate the champion, and the card on the right each time you activate their follower unit. You'll only flip the middle card when you use the champion's ultimate skill. Okay. Interesting. Phases of a turn: plot phase, clash phase, end phase, movement, ranges, activating your models, using model skills, status effects, knockout, scenarios, life, death, change, knowledge, quest. These are the scenarios. Chaos. Got a cool index. All alphabetized. And the back page for a one-page overview. All right, let's go back to page 10. Try to make a little bit more sense of it. Selecting your warband. GodTear is a game played between two warbands of equal size. Before the game begins, players agree on the size of the warbands with 1 to 4 champions and their followers on each side. One thing I'm interested in is drafting these. I think there's a good draft you can do real fast. If you're new to GodTear or tabletop games, we recommend starting with just one champion. I got 2 of them. So, and their followers, so you can learn the basics. Once you're more familiar with the rules, we recommend moving up to 2 games. Moving up to games with 3 champions on each side, which is a standard size game that will last about an hour. Once you've agreed to a game size, simply select your champions, then gather their cards and muster their followers. Although there are plenty of champions to choose from, it's entirely possible for both players will want to use the same champions during a game. When a card refers to a champion or follower unit by name, however, it always means the friendly champion or friendly follower, even if your opponent is using the same stuff. Each player should also take one dashboard for each of their champions. Place the cards for each of your champions on a different dashboard to make it easy to find the info you need. So it sounds like, so the left is the champion. I think you put the champion there, then you put the, then whenever you flip the followers, you do that card, something like that. I don't know. All right, preparing the battlefield. Place the battlefield in the middle of the table. Choose a scenario and place starting objective hexes as shown for that scenario. If this is your first game, we recommend the life scenario to get started. Okay, I'll be sure to remember that. Randomly determine the first player and second player for turn 1. The first player then chooses which deployment hexes they wish to deploy in. The deployment hexes on the opposite side of the battlefield are where the second player will deploy. The players will then take their warband tokens and place them on the battle ladder on the same side of the battlefield as their deployment hexes. The scenario rules show the space on each side of the battle ladder where a warband token should be placed. Place the turn token for turn 1 in the space beside the midline of the battle ladder that is closer for the first player's warband token. Place the remaining turn tokens next to the battle ladder in numerical order as shown. Okay, deployment. When deploying warbands, players follow the steps below. To deploy a model, simply place it on the deployment hexes shown in your chosen scenario. When deploying small followers, Up to 3 followers from the same unit may be placed in 1 hex. Okay, small guys, 3 to a hex, up to 3 to 1 hex. The first player places a champion in their follower unit. The second player places a champion in their follower unit. Continue performing steps 2 and 3 until both players have deployed their entire warbands. Okay, turn tokens, as we see. Okay, so turn 1, you know, start in the middle. Turn 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 turns. You got your warband tokens at the ends. I guess if you get on the other side, you end up winning that round and get those many points. First to 5 points, I think, said wins the game. Okay, there are 3 model types in GodTear. Champions are unique and powerful heroes of your warband. Followers are groups of 1 to 6 models per champion, representing forces that a champion has attracted to their service. Banners allow a champion to stake their claim to a GodTear and begin to absorb its powers. The info required to use each champion and follower is shown on its cards. Banners do not have stat cards but are critical to a warband's victory, as explained in overview, page 8. All right. Yeah, so that the draft, you'll just draft champions, and then of course the followers follow behind the champion. Okay, the first card for each champion shows the champion stats and has 2 distinct sides. And when drafting, I think you can't have the same color. I think you can't have 2 of the same color. Yeah. Right. Man, matter of fact, let me pause this. All right. The first card for each champion shows the champion stats and has 2 distinct sides. The lighter side is used in the plot phase. Which one is the lighter? Okay, the lighter side is used in the plot phase, and the darker side is used in the clash phase. Each time you use a champion, you'll flip the card over to show that the champion can't activate again in the current phase. Interesting. Okay, so plot phase, clash phase. Champion can't activate again in the current phase. The champion's name, champion's speed, dodge, protection, and health. This shows that this card is used for a champion. The phase that this side of the card is used in, the champion's skills. Titus. The second card for each champion shows the champion's traits, abilities. Okay, yeah, right here. Traits, abilities that they have throughout the game. The front side of the card also has their ultimate skill, a skill they can use only once during the entire game of GodTear. Once you use the ultimate skill, flip this card over to show that you can't use it again. The champion's name, the champion's origin, what class they are. The ultimate skill is number 4. Okay, the ultimate skill. Okay, so you use that ultimate, then you flip it. You can't use it again for the rest of the game. It's got those same 2 other attacks you can still use though. The champion's traits. A Maelstrom moves the turn token +1 step when they knock out an enemy follower. Okay, then we got followers right here. Followers. Okay, follower units have only 1 card for their skills and traits. As with the first champion card, followers have a lighter side that's used in the plot phase and a darker side that's used in the clash phase. Each time you use a follower unit, you'll flip their card over to show that they can't activate again in the current phase. The follower unit's name, the follower's unit speed, dodge, protection, and health, the starting and maximum number of followers in the unit, the phase that this side of the card is used in, the follower's unit skills, the follower unit's trait. Dashboard. For each champion, lay out their cards on the dashboard as shown below. Note that you'll flip the card on the left each time you activate the champion, and the card on the right each time you activate their follower unit. You'll only flip the middle card when you use the champion's ultimate skill. Right? Zooming in, phases of a turn. A game of GodTear takes place over 3 to 5 turns and ends when a player has 5 VP. Each turn has 2 phases of actions followed by 1 phase to reset for the next turn's action. In the plot phase, an entire warband acts together. The first player activates all of their champions and followers, then the second player does the same. In the clash phase, each champion and follower unit activates individually, and those activations alternate between players. The end phase determines who won the turn, but models do not activate during the end phase. Plot phase, the first player activates each champion and each follower unit in their warband. The second player activates each champion and follower unit in their warband. Clash phase, the first player activates one champion or follower unit from their warband. Second player does the same. Repeat steps 1 and 2 until every champion and follower unit has activated. End phase, both players add up 5 end phase points for each banner they have on the battlefield belonging to one of the Guardian champions, and 4 points for each of their banners from other champion classes. If one player has more points than the other, the player with more points moves the turn token 1 step closer to the warband token for each point they have above the opponent's total. Then remove all banners from the battlefield. The player who has the turn token on their side of the battle ladder wins the turn. They take the turn, flip it over, and gain VP equal to the number shown. Follow the scenario rules for end phase. The player who did not win the turn chooses whether to be the first player on the second player's next turn or the second player next turn. Place the turn token for the next turn in the space beside the midline of the battle ladder that is closer to the first player's warband token. Okay. Movement. Ranges, activating your models, champion only actions, follower only actions, using model skills, status effects, knockout, okay, blights, -1 speed, -1 dodge, -1 protection, -1 hit roll, -1 melee, and the boons are the opposite. Knockout, life, in the scenarios. For this knockout, a knockout occurs when a model has wounds equal to its health stat. The number of wounds tokens on a model can never exceed its health. Any additional wounds over a model's health are simply lost. Champions, when a champion is knocked out, the player who caused the knockout may move the champion up to 2 hexes. Discard all status tokens above the champion's card from its dashboard, but leave the champion on the battlefield in the chosen hex. A knocked out champion can't move, be placed, or gain status tokens. The only way to remove wounds from a knocked out champion is the rally action. To get back in the fight, a knocked out champion must use the rally action the next time it activates. A champion can't take any other action while it has wounds equal to its health, and it can't have wounds removed until it uses the rally action. Followers. When a follower model is knocked out, the follower model is removed from the battlefield. When the last unit in a unit is removed, discard all status tokens above the unit's cards from its dashboard. A follower unit with no models on the battlefield still activates normally. They must make a recruit action as their first action, that activation. All right, so pretty much that's GodTear. Hopefully I can get this played soon, and until then I'm going to keep on opening all this GodTear I got. Next will be this red faction, but until then, south side. Wave your head so high, rub your head, and do the south side. All right, later.